Gather around the fire, my friends. Welcome to the Drunken Cryptids. I'm your guide, Matthew. Here, you'll hear encounters of the spooky, paranormal, the strange, and the unknown. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. It's showtime.
Was these two globes. I don't know how to describe them. And I stood up there and looked at them, and it's like...
That how she turned and looked at me, she backed straight up to my closet door.
I just couldn't hold it anymore, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was a chupacabra. I was so excited.
I am drinking something I affectionately refer to as a Matty Rita.
And welcome back to another episode of the Drunken Cryptids. I'm your host, Matthew Wharton. And of course, sitting beside me tonight at the new outdoor tavern, the Drunken Cryptid Tavern, is Jacob. Everybody give a round of applause to Jacob. Yay, Jacob. Yay.
What's up, everybody?
Yay, Jacob. Also sitting in, just listening in tonight is Vince. So Vince is waving at everybody right now. So... I got my buddies hanging out with me. And again, I got another buddy hanging out with us tonight. Everybody, Todd from the Musical Seer episode. Todd, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's everything going?
All right. Well, Todd, welcome back. But real quick, let me get some of the front of the house stuff out of the way. So real quick shout out to Blade Media. Dylan, thank you so very much for the graphic. Dude, the design is great. Every time I see it, man, it makes me smile. Y'all, if you need anything done graphics-wise, check out blademedia.com. That's BLAYED. media.com, and he is up in Bald Knob, Arkansas. He does great. He gets back with you quick as he can. They keep him busy, but of course he could be busier. Trying to get support local businesses, y'all. Tell you that right now. Also, Gunner, Tommy, thank you guys so very much. You guys are killing it for me in the back shots. I love it. Y'all are great. Keep up the good work for me. I mean, you guys are behind the scenes. Y'all have to deal with me on a regular basis. I'm nice to the audience, but Gunner and Tommy and Jacob, I'm generally not nice to sometimes. Old Sarah Norton comes out when I'm talking to them, But of course, we are going to be at the Arkansas Paranormal Expo this October 26th and 27th. So come down. We're going to have a booth set up. I have T-shirts for sale. We do have T-shirts now for sale as well. They are on the Facebook page. I am taking pre-orders. If you're interested at all, message me. Email me, whatever you want for the T-shirts. They are forest green. In the picture, they look more gray, but they are forest green, and I'm going to experiment with the black one on this order. So I'll post that one up, see what everybody thinks about it. Also, if you've had an encounter, email me, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Also, you guys, like and share, follow us, share us with everybody that you know, share us with your enemies, share us with your friends, share us with your loved ones. We would make a great birthday gift. I think if you were to share one of our episodes, I think that would make a great birthday gift for somebody. Todd, what do you think?
Absolutely.
The Drunken
I got
Cryptids.
my order in, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Drunken Cryptids. It's the gift that keeps on giving. But no, like and share us, you guys. Give us those 5-star reviews. I appreciate all the hard work. I do want to give another shout out to another podcast tonight, though. I got to give them a shout out. Okay? Are you ready? Nevermore Hollows. If you guys have not listened to Nevermore Hollows, let me tell you something. These guys are great. They came up with this awesome, unique concept. And it is stories. And they'll do interviews with folks, from time to time. Don't get me wrong. But they came up with this fictional town in Georgia. And they have all these neat stories, and they have reoccurring characters, and they build up on the characters, character development as you go through. It's a great. So I got to give a shout out to those guys real quick as well.
Yes.
And of course, the guys at Cryptids the Corn, Justin and Jay, you guys are amazing. And of course, Eric over at Uncomfortable. Thank you all for the support. I appreciate it all. But Todd, that little bit of guitar music we played at the beginning, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what you can do when you don't know what you can do.
No, that was good. You sent that to me last week, and I was like, oh, I got to listen to this.
I come up with that. I was messing around on the guitar one day, and I practice a lot, mostly to music takes me away. Music is my thing, and I got to messing with some chords, and it kind of came out, and I was trying to put words to it, and it's just one of those things that I just can't. I personally can't. So it's just a strictly acoustic piece, and it's just, I really like it.
I'm going to send it to my buddy Kyle, who does the outro music for us, and see what he can come up with, because Kyle's actually really, really good musically. I don't give Kyle enough shout-outs. I just realized that.
No, you don't.
Shout out Kyle Anderson. Love you, buddy. Kyle Anderson Music. Amazing. If y'all get a chance, check it out. He wrote a whole bunch of songs. Go ahead, check him out. There you go, Kyle. Shout out to you. But yeah, I have to share that with Kyle.
Okay, cool.
See what he says about it. But you talked to me, though, last week. You said that you had some more experiences that you wanted to share with me.
A lifetime worth of experiences.
Well, shoot. This is your show, brother. I'm going to let you sit back and take it away. I'm glad the friendship that we've developed ever since your first episode.
I tell you, it is the thing that I think is cool about this friendship. Number one, this is all online. 20 years ago, this wouldn't have happened.
No.
20 years ago, your podcasts and stuff like that, just stuff like that wouldn't happen. But we become friends. We joke about stuff. I watch your stuff on TikTok, and stuff comes across to Facebook, and I watch your stuff and always catch you first thing in the morning as I'm sitting there sleepily having coffee. And it's really cool. It's a really cool thing.
Oh man, I appreciate that. You're too kind. Your words are too kind, and I enjoy your music. I'll be scrolling through TikTok, and you'll pop up. And I go, oh, I'm listening to what Todd's playing real quick, and jam out for a minute.
I appreciate that.
So I've sent it to a couple of buddies of mine as well for them to jam back. Jam back. That sounded horrible. Jam out, listen to. Professional podcaster there, Matthew. But yeah. So I love the music. I love the music, and I love the fact that you just let it take you away as your escape. It's a healthy escape.
Well, I don't know if we talked about this before, but when it comes to music is something I got into because for 40, 50 years, I was in production, some kind of factory production. I spent the better part of that as a welder, and I have a big appreciation for the poor guys that are out there doing this in this kind of weather, because I've been there.
Hold on a second. Jacob, say hi to everybody real quick.
Hi.
Jacob's our welder.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, he does you does the high beam. You're like, yeah. So I have like this fear of heights, and so he'll start sending me pictures of him being up high.
Yeah, I'm an iron worker. I walk the red iron.
See, we're a bunch of blue collar guys. That's all we are.
So I got an old guitar back from my ex-wife, and I started plinking around on it, just messing around on it. And I found this was really cool because this reduced my stress and my anxiety and stuff like that. And it was never supposed to be about performing and putting music out and anything like that. It was just a stress reducer. But like a lot of things, like maybe say your podcast, things just kind of take a life of its own. And I've been very, very fortunate to retire, and very, very fortunate to retire into music. I said I was going to do that a number of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm thankful and I'm blessed to be able to have done that. And that, to me, there's nothing better. I'm finally doing something that I like, and that I want to do. And at the end of the day, if I fail, I'm failing something I want to do. I'm not failing somebody who's giving me a job to do, and I really don't want to do.
Well, why
I personally can be successful at anything that's thrown at me. I know I can. If I'm going to fail, I'm failing on my terms, and I'm failing with something that I love. But can you really fail?
No, you can't. And what I love is your self-talk.
Oh, it was yeah. There's no music theory. There's nothing. I actually, and the funny thing about me playing, you really don't hear it in the playing, but I tried to actually cut my ring finger off.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
I know it was.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that in the your first episode.
So it was. So then I had to totally relearn everything, and now what I've relearned there got motion back in my. I got 100% motion back in my finger, and it's all from playing.
Really?
That was literally my therapy, seeing how far I could push it, and the more I pushed it, the more it came back, and I play way different. You could have the same chord patterns for 20 different guys. You'll know me every time because it's different, and I like that.
Kind of like Eddie Van Halen. Because you can always tell when Eddie plays. I don't care if he's just sitting in a stool and playing.
Oh, yeah.
You can always tell Eddie's style of playing. And it's great. Miss Eddie Van Halen. Big Van Halen fan. Shout out to Van Halen. But no, I love it. I love the music that you do. I really do. So I appreciate you posting it up there. And I want to,
no problem.
So why don't you give your TikTok a shout out real quick?
I am my TikTok, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube is all Todd Guthrie music. And you'll find originals and some covers and all sorts of stuff in there. We do blues and older rock, country, Americana. If I liked it, I learned to play it, and that's where you can find me.
Love it. Good. Thank you for the shout out, because you need to.
Thank you.
I definitely want to get you some more exposure. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man, no, thank you. I appreciate you coming back on again. I had a great time last time.
Oh, it was awesome. I think we could have went 3 or 4 hours.
We could have. We could have. And the equipment that I was using at the time would only record for about an hour. Yeah. So I was watching the time and like, okay, we got to cut it off. We got to cut it off.
I know. Yeah, the struggle's real.
It was very real. Oh, man. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about some of the experiences that you had. That's why everybody's tuning in.
Where do you want to start?
Man, you tell me. This is all on you. You were talking about time displacement and possible UFO encounter.
Oh,
If you got more, share away.
Oh, my God. Well, the problem of it is it all blends together, okay?
Okay.
It really does. I think there are some things that I think is paranormal, sort of spiritual stuff. I think it actually is. It may possibly be linked over into the UFO stuff. But obviously, I'm no expert.
No, but fire away. I'm highly intrigued.
Well,
Vince's eyebrows raised up when you said that.
I will start from the very, very beginning. I grew up in Hastings, Nebraska, which is and still is about 25,000 people. And we live clear on the edge of town. Matter of fact, if you walked up the street a little bit, you see cornfields on the outside of town. And I remember having a dream, what I perceived as a dream, okay? Two nights in a row, simultaneously, night after night, which is, I don't usually do that, looking through history and stuff. I had a dream. I was in a completely white room. I had it felt like something was holding on to my ankles and onto my hands. No idea what was going on. And this happened 2 nights in a row. And I remember sometime after that, and I don't know if I told you about this. There's something about the man in the corner. There's something that triggered this childhood fear about the man in the corner. And I think those three events are all intertwined somehow. I don't know. Like I say, none of us are experts.
No. Not at all.
Well, you've heard about people having implants.
Yeah, actually, I just listened to an episode on Uncomfortable, and they were talking about implants. Have you had an implant?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Matt, I swear to you, on a stack of Bibles 5 foot tall. I was a kid. This is mid 60s, we'll say, mid to late 60s. Okay. In stuff I've read, I haven't read of anything that goes quite back that far. It's always been recent history. Okay. We were at my grandparents' house for Sunday dinner, which was something we did forever. And I felt something up by my left nipple. So I pulled my shirt up, and I'm a kid, and there was sticking out on the underside of the skin, something that looked like a tiny box, a tiny square.
Was it black?
I couldn't see it, except it was under the skin. Okay, it was under the skin, but it was raised up, so it made
you could feel a bump underneath it. Then,
oh, you could visibly see it.
Almost like a microchip?
You could literally visibly see this. And I went to my mom and I says, "What is this?" "Oh, it'll be okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay."
So they blew it off?
Literally.
I wonder if they knew.
I don't know. I have no clue. I have no idea.
And about how old were you?
Approximately.
Well, estimate.
5, 6.
Wow, I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah, you are.
Well, how'd you get it out?
We never went to the doctor.
Is it still there?
I was literally, of course, as a kid, you know how you get fixated on something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too long, and it just disappeared. How it disappeared, I have no idea. Is it still in there? I have no clue.
Aliens.
I would think I would have enough x-rays on stuff that's happened to me over the years that somebody would have seen a box type chest. I've had chest x-rays, and that they would have seen something floating around in there,
That is weird.
Yeah, I got to be on. Okay, so I'm going to circle back around here. So we're having dreams, being in a white room. Your ankles and your wrists are being held down. Mm-hmm. You feel like there's somebody sitting in a corner watching you.
Yep.
You're having dinner. Do you remember what you're having for dinner?
What I was having for dinner?
Just throwing that out there.
Whatever Mom put on the table.
There you go. Some of my mom's rules were too. But so you're by your left nipple, which is close to your heart, and you just felt this square thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember about when it disappeared?
I can't honestly tell you how long it was from the time that I seen it till it finally disappeared.
Were you still having like dreams of being in the white room or anything like that at all?
That was a 2-night thing. Boom, boom.
So just 2 nights in a row, having a crazy dream, and being in the white room. That is weird.
Yeah.
Man.
Welcome to my life.
That is weird, because I've never had like anything like that at all. And I mean, I've had like, the spooky stuff and haunted houses and the weird thing down at Fort Hood, but I've never, no. I mean, I have really weird whacked out dreams, but and vivid dreams, but nothing like that at all. That's absolutely crazy.
It was crazy because the crazy thing about the dream was I had it the one night and remembered it, and then had it the next night, and I'm thinking, well, shit, we just had this dream the night before. You know what I mean? You're consciously.
Yeah.
Now, was it a dream state? Was it not a dream state? Was it something induced? I don't know. But I remember thinking, just had this last night. This just happened last night.
Man. You got me dumbfounded on this one. I'm not going to lie. It's where this sounds like you might have had a possible alien abduction. Have you ever had it since or anything like that since?
Had what sense?
Like the dreams or...
I have dreams, but in the last, let's say the last 20 years, nothing that's vivid. Bits and pieces, how you remember. Oh, I was dreaming I was going to Walmart or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Work. I'm sure you can understand that one.
Yeah.
The work dreams.
I've had lots of work dreams.
But nothing that was, I guess, intense like that.
That's crazy. But nothing ever, but that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That's cool in a creepy way. Todd, you're full of surprises.
This is why I don't divulge this to too many people that are close to me, because they all think I'm a little crazy as it is. Of course, I'm a musician.
Well, you fit in great with the Drunken Cryptids. I'll tell you that right now. You'd be great on a Friday night. We're having a little technical difficulty, so if you hear anything in the background, that's what's going on.
That's okay.
Jacob's microphone stand decided to quit working.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I think we got it fixed. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, Jacob's back.
My mount started to slip off.
Yep. And Vince was right there, man on the spot, jumping around. You're like, I'm gonna call you Silent Vince. It says Silent Bob. We'll do Silent Vince. He can't argue with me. He can't talk. He doesn't have a microphone. He's giving me a thumbs up. At least it wasn't the middle finger.
Oh, jeez. That's good.
But man, no, I mean, circle back to it again, though. That's, yeah, Todd, when we were talking about a little bit about this last week, this was not at all what I expected.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh, of course. Go ahead, please.
I tell you that. So you fast forward to middle school, and I was always a crappy reader, and it was just one of those things. It's, had problems reading, and went through the reading programs in school. But I started to reading books and stuff that I was interested in. Actually, believe it or not, some of the very first books that I really delved into was about Bigfoot.
I believe it.
And it was just a fascinating story. So we're living on 12th Street. I'm in middle school. My brother's in high school. And I was sitting there reading, waiting for a Bigfoot book of all things, waiting for mom to come home. And I was sitting there reading away and, kind of lost in thought and this and that. And I heard what sounded like mumbling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somebody's coming in the door and he just didn't quite hear me. I says, "Hey, Mom, what's up? Can I help you?" Again, second mumbling. Okay, so I went up, got up, put the book down, went over, opened the back door. You opened the door on the inside, and you went down a couple steps, and there's a door on the outside. Ain't nobody there. Well, maybe I was hearing things. Didn't think about anything about it. Fast forward about 2 days, and it's the only way I could describe it as a dream. But here this whole scenario is playing out in front of me again. I was sitting. I'm literally looking at the scene, right? Like
Right.
you're watching TV.
Yeah.
So there I'm sitting, and heard the mumbling. I said something. Heard the mumbling. I said something. I got up, walked to the door, and then when it got to the back door and opened up the back door, that's when I was kind of in the scene. Okay. It's just, you open up the back door and it's just absolutely perfectly pure white. And I'm going, well, this is crazy. You know, I mean, you don't see any of the backyard. It's absolutely white. Out of this white comes this figure, which is would be like a human type figure, dressed in what looked like a very long to the feet white type rope.
Okay.
And can I help you? And she said, this, I don't know if it was male or female. I don't know. She says, you've been chosen. I said, I've been chosen. Yes, you've been chosen. And I says, well, what does this mean? At which point this figure goes back into this whiteness. And that's the end of the scene.
That is weird.
You telling me? You should have seen it in color.
It's a great song. But okay,
Yeah.
so all right. Yeah, I'm getting my head wrapped around this. Okay, so this is what I think. I think for the first time not the dream, but when you were sitting on the couch, reading your book, waiting for your mom to come home, and you're hearing the mumbling stuff and looked around and nobody was there, I think that I think it happened then, and then the dream was just kind of like a flashback for you.
Well, I honestly have wondered that. I totally had wondered that. Because it seems to, I mean, on the logic sense, it seems to fit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That the whole thing, which seemed to be a few moments, was actually, however this works, time shift or time stoppage or whatever.
Time displacement.
The whole thing actually was longer than that. The encounter happened, but it's all masked. And then for whatever reason, it pops up as a memory or a dream.
No, I agree. Have you thought about trying to like do some, regression hypnosis or anything?
I have thought about that. I did try to some self-induced hypnosis and try to figure stuff out, but I don't think I'm either A, the best candidate, or B, I was doing it correctly.
Right. Well, I don't think you can hypnotize yourself. I think you have to be willing to go into hypnotism and be willing to be hypnotized and be willing to go back into almost kind of a manifestation point, but to where you yourself, you want to go into this and, you want to go back and you want to find out what really took place or stop smoking or lose weight or, any of those things. And and I think hypnosis can be a good thing for that too. I mean, I thought about it, going back because, my event down at Fort Hood was in 2002, 22 years ago. And I've thought about trying to do it and see if I can pull out any more details about what took place that night, that I can't fully remember and maybe, shed some more light on it. Because, that event right there, I mean, of all the things that I've experienced, that one left its mark on me pretty strong.
Oh, I bet.
So, but the figure in white saying that you have a destiny.
You were chosen. And,
chosen.
Even today, that doesn't make any sense. After everything and all the experiences and the work-related stuff and the music, I don't understand. I still don't understand that. What the hell has chosen me? I have no clue. And I've yet to figure that out. I mean, I'm still trying to.
Yeah, I don't have. I mean, we could go on theories all day long. That could go from religion all the way to the X-Files. I mean,
sure.
But I do know
sure.
of lots of cases to where children who were abducted and stuff, they were used for a lot of the experiments, stuff like that. Nothing nothing perverse, but I mean, to be monitored, to be watched, to be all that everything, to see what was and maybe that your parents were trying to ignore everything and told you to ignore it because the fact of the matter that maybe they were in on it, or we could go
Maybe they were
abductees too.
Maybe they were programmed to ignore it.
Yeah, there's that possibility. I mean,
I don't. But it wasn't a big deal.
We're just spitballing here. What's your thoughts on this whole entire stuff, there, Jacob? Because you're just you got the same look on my. I feel like that you're mirroring my look.
I almost kind of am. I'm just mind boggled at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
This is
trying to wrap my head around, my brain racking it, trying to figure out what process to what all this have gone down to this point of when you said you're chosen. I mean, what makes any sense of it?
maybe it's the fairies.
The fairies. It could be aliens.
It could be the fae folk. Sorry, I'm on this fairy kick lately, Todd.
But yeah,
okay.
it's just
They're messing with me, so I got to mess with them back.
Oh, true.
Oh, jeez.
But at the
No,
same
they
time,
really are.
It is, but at the same time, it just, like I said, just trying to wrap my head around all that's gone down. It's just trying to think of anything possible that does make sense for this to happen, or what outcome.
Yeah, Todd, this has got me. Yeah, I mean, I've always was in the UFOs, and I read, Whitley Strieber's book, and I don't know if you read that or not, which was fascinating. Watch some of the movies based upon it. Remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind? That movie came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, great movie. Excellent cast. But I've never had an encounter. It's always fascinated me. But you've had an implant, saying that you were chosen. Do you think maybe the implant disappeared around this time frame?
Honestly, I have no clue. I have no. Is it still in there? Is it not in there? Did they take it? I have no clue.
Well, you're older. You've had X-rays, I'm sure, in that area, haven't you?
I mean, and I had a number of chest X-rays and stuff, and I have never had anybody say anything about anything or any kind of spot in the left side of my chest at all that they said. I mean, I'm sure they would have said something that they seen something like a very tiny box in your chest. They would have probably said, "Well, what's this?"
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I got a question. So have you seen your own X-rays on this, and you didn't see it either, or they didn't? Have they showed you?
That's a good one.
I mean, if you saw your own X-rays and it's not there, then it, like, what the heck happened to it?
Todd, did we lose you?
No, I'm still here. I didn't hear everything. Sorry.
Oh, I was wondering. Did you get the chance to see your own X-rays?
No, I was never shown anything.
Okay.
It was always, I forget what. I mean, there's a number of things over the years, health stuff, but they never ever showed me anything. So I always said everything looks clear, everything's fine. So I mean, who do you believe?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a possibility that the doctors didn't even see it, so they just, said you had a clean bill of health.
Okay, I'm going to go off the rails here, and I'm going to go as the government and fairies together, working with the aliens. That's what I'm going with. I am. I think the fairies are in cahoots with the aliens. They're interdimensional beings coming across with the help of the fairies. Yep, there we go. Problem solved. There, yep, solved the issue right
Bingo.
there. Boom. And thank you for listening to another episode. I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
No,
Well,
that is
craziest.
no. That's no.
Well-
Todd, hold on. I'm getting my head wrapped around this, and I've got probably a million questions. I'm trying to figure out how to formulate them. So,
How do you?
yeah, I know. I mean, this is one of those things where you have this crazy, weird thing happened to you reading a book, and then you have a dream about the same thing, but now there's a being there. But let's back up even more. You're at the dinner table, and being a kid, you're going, hey, there's something here, and your parents saying, don't mess with it. Did they look at it and then say not mess with it?
I showed them.
What if
I
your parents were
literally showed
aliens? What if your parents were aliens, Todd?
Who knows?
I mean, I'm not trying to say anything bad about the dead, but I mean, what if they were aliens?
Guinea pig.
I mean, I feel like I'm the guy right now from Ancient Aliens going, aliens. That's kind of how I'm feeling.
I don't know. I mean, it was. I guess it didn't. Had I been a teenager or older, I'd say, "Hey, what do you think this is?"
Aliens.
I think it'd have been a different story about my reaction. But you're a kid, 5, 6 years, 7 years old. No, it's okay. It'll be okay. And that was it.
And nothing big was said about it or anything?
Nothing else was ever said about it.
That's weird.
And then it disappeared.
At some point after that, and I don't know how long it was a couple weeks or a month or whatever, it finally, it either went in or was taken out, one of the two. Because you can no longer see it like poking through the surface, kind of.
So have you seen? Okay, so have you gone to bed and woken up with your clothes on backwards or anything like that?
No.
Have you gone to bed and woken up in a different room?
Not that I can remember of.
Okay, I'm just trying to. I'm throwing some other questions here at you. Have you been somewhere and then suddenly you're somewhere else?
Not that I'm aware of.
Traveling and realizing that you have like a couple hours to get to your destination, and then you realize that you have an hour to your destination.
Well, I will say there is, and that honestly happens. I hate to say a lot, but it happens.
It happens a lot.
Well, okay,
Todd.
It happens a lot.
Todd.
You'd be driving along. I'm going to. The girlfriend lives east of here, a couple hours, and you'll be going along, oh hell, when did I pass such and such a town? Because then all of a sudden you're conscious of the town. Because by now I know all the exits from my house to her house, and it's just something that you learn, and it's like, well, that's crazy.
What
did that? And it's just yeah, it's like. Yeah, I mean, it's just not deja vu. That's not even the right word. But yeah, that happens. You go, oh, crap.
Well, sometimes I think because when I was driving a lot, I would realize, oh man, I'm coming up on such and such town. You know what I mean? Or I already went through because I would be in my own thoughts or jamming out to the radio or one of those things. So some of those, but I'm talking like a major
A major time?
Yeah. Something completely to just...
Well, that happened. I was 20-something working for the school systems, and I actually had a missing time event.
Really?
Yeah, I was 25-ish in there working for the public school systems, and I worked at the high school. I had two different places that I cleaned.
Okay.
And I went over to the one because it was going to take me less time than the other place. So just go, get it done, be done with it. This particular day, man, I'm dragging butt, and I'm drinking coffee, and I'm going, man, it's one of those days that you just say, there ain't enough coffee in this world to get me kick-started this morning. And this is before, like, energy drinks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a drafting room. And so I went in there, I dumped the trash, and I thought, man, there's got enough coffee going through me to kill a horse. So I went in to go to the bathroom. There was a small bathroom in there. And went in there to go to the bathroom, and next thing I know, I'm out cleaning the room.
Huh.
I was about halfway through cleaning the room. No idea. I actually looked down to be sure I had everything put away.
And just
I have no idea how long that was. 15 minutes, maybe max. Maybe.
see, I'm thinking that you had actually probably some more, which beyond you may be, chosen because of the fact that you kind of are sensitive as well.
Could be. Absolutely. I would, I mean, my beliefs, at least I think, is a lot of this stuff, the paranormal, the UFO, I think there are people who are just not so much chosen, but are able to receive that information. And I wonder sometimes that if being an artist and having that artistic persona and soul, if these people aren't more so chosen than somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I can definitely see that. And that could be for good and for bad.
Absolutely.
Especially in today's music world, I think that there's, a lot more evil entities being so I'm trying to think, manifested, used in today's music than people realize for a lot of mainstream artists and stuff.
Absolutely.
And because it is a talent, because maybe there is that little art, people who are more artistic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can see a little bit more through the veil and see what's going on or what's taking place and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. And then you have this back history on my mom's side of the family, and I don't know if it's my grandmother or my grandfather who was a great aunt or something, or great aunt. I don't know how many times greats you put in there, but
right.
she would talk to the spirits. They would literally come and knock and pound until she went into the other room and talked to them. I heard that story, I think, once in the time, and I was older. But you wonder, and then you kind of like, well, what do you talk about? You know what I mean? What do you sit there and talk to them about?
Yeah.
But that was told once. My dad said he was at he's going to turn it in his grave if I get this wrong. I forget. There was some kind of church thing. Now, my dad wasn't a big Christian, but he was very much a Bible study. When he was younger, he was a Bible study,
right,
and knew quite a bit. And he said there was this. He was at, or the family was at, this one church. Must have been a little church, country church, because they lived, in small town Nebraska. And they said this guy walked out of the church, and he formed his hands some way, and the clouds, he said, formed that shape.
Whoa.
Now my dad was a BSer, and he was a salesman, and he was good at what he does, but just stuff like that, he wouldn't joke about. So I don't know. He said, yeah, we walked out of church, and the guy made his hand, however he made his hand, or made a finger, or however he did it. He says he said you can see the clouds just swirling and make that shape in the clouds.
That is crazy.
Yeah, very much so.
That's man. I've got nothing on that one.
How do you even approach? I mean, even if he was alive to this day, how do you approach that?
So you said earlier about your dad. So he was into Bible study when he was younger, correct?
Yes.
But he wasn't when you were around.
No. Well, the service happened. He got married. Worked at the same place for 40 some years.
Got abducted by aliens.
Who knows? But they
Spitballing.
never said anything about unusual experiences. And I'm like the odd man out, going, "Yeah, Mom, if you'd asked me about this and that, I would have told you that this is going to happen." And Mom totally freaking out in the kitchen. I'm like 6. No, if you'd have told me I could have told you that was going to happen. Totally lost her mind. Said, "Don't you ever say that again." She was serious. One of the very few times I can say my mom was dead serious, and "Don't you ever say that again." And I forget what it was, something on the radio.
Yeah, that was on the first episode.
Yeah,
that you did. Everybody go back and listen to the Musical Seer to figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah. So then I remember, I think the book was Communion.
Yeah, Whitley Strieber.
I read that.
Or Whitney Strieber. I was trying to think.
Whitley, yeah.
I'm going to screw his name up. I mean, because he has like a really weird, either following or Whitley Strieber. Yep, Whitley.
Yeah, I read that. I read that book, and there were some interesting things in there. The thing that struck me the most was the cover. It's just like, wow. I don't know why.
The Great Alien on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that was a good cover. Great Alien on the cover. So they did a movie. I'm trying to think of who. They kind of did a movie based off of that. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
What was that? Let's see here. The Power. Is that it? 1989 movie? Yeah. Christopher Walken. It's called Communion. Yeah. Christopher Walken was in it.
Yeah. I don't know I don't remember if I watched that movie or not. I'd read the book numerous times, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, I think I read the book and then I watched the movie, which was not even close to the book. But I mean, it's got you can't go wrong with Christopher Walken.
There was an interesting thing in there, and I reflected on that a number of times. Was he talked about the secret school? Remember that?
Vaguely.
Well, the secret school is where they would take these children and they would bring them.
I do remember now.
I'm really butchering it. They would bring them, and then they would teach them whatever. And I don't remember.
See, I think that part of that, what he was going through, I think a lot of that had to do with a lot of government stuff, to be honest with you. I think the government in some aspects is a bit more shadier than people believe.
Well, yeah, I think in certain aspects, yeah, it is. Well, the reason I say that is because got married for the second time. The wife at the time she had 2, I had 2. She had 2 girls, I had 2 boys. Everybody got along really well together. And we were, and the one child, because she had ADHD, kept her in sports. So it's something to focus on, something to burn energy and everything else. So there's a lot of sports. So we were at a basketball thing in a year, and of course parents talk. It's a practice session. There's nothing going on yet, and one gal started talking to me, and we talked about the kids and the games and who's all this whole kid stuff. And she says, I know you from somewhere. I says, I totally get that feeling, but I have no idea where it was from. Just because I never grew up and hung, as this was in Grand Island, which is about 30 miles from the town I lived in. And I never went up there, never hung out there, never went to the bar there, never did anything like that. And it's just like, you get that feeling. I know this person. I don't know where this person's from, but I'm not from this town. I grew up in this town, and it was then I thought about, that's when, whether it's correct or not, that's when I wondered about the secret school. If this was a thing, if this is an actual thing that happens. But I've bumped into numerous people like that.
It's a it's a possibility. I mean, anything is possible.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to where you could have been abducted by aliens, and you may have been introduced to the program to a point. But I mean, you only had those couple, those few encounters. Where a lot of other abductees, they'll talk about remembering, life. You know what I mean? Their whole life having encounters, crazy dreams, major time displacements. Waking up in different rooms of the house, waking up with their clothes on backwards, waking up in different clothes. And because a lot of people believe that the Greys, are pretty much like mind servants, and they're pretty much like little servants. So they like, okay, we this person. Oh, we don't understand how this works. And I think there's like 12 or more supposedly alien species out there, like the Nordics, the Greys, the reptilians. There's a bunch. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I mean, there's just somebody wanted to do. One of the kids wanted to do an episode on UFOs, and I was like, man, that's a rabbit hole that would just go on. I mean, somebody could run a whole entire podcast. I'm sure they're out there.
Sure.
Nothing but UFOs and abductions, just because of how much information, and encounters are out there about it. So, but
well, you wonder yourself. So, are we keeping this from me because of my personality? The way I would handle it?
Or maybe trauma?
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to think about that when it comes. I think to a lot of people, I mean, this is something that's completely out of the ordinary, out of the norm, out of the mainstream, per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in some aspects we're not mentally prepared to handle something like that.
No.
That would be like if we went and grabbed a caveman, brought him here for a little bit, and then took him back. I mean, we would mess his mind up.
Well, I mean, take this for instance. Imagine getting your grandfather, your great-grandfather, and being able to bring him to right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if my grandfather was a farmer, and he had a team of mules. They thresh corn. They had threshing crews come through, thresh corn, and pick corn with a steam engine. If he could see a combine now going through the field, picking it, and cleaning it, and storing it, and spitting stuff out the other side, he wouldn't know what to do.
No.
Especially at the speed that it's going.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the way technology has advanced so much just in 100 years.
Yeah.
Toward you grab somebody from 100, we'll just go back to 200 years ago and bring them to today, let them hang out for an hour, and then drop them back off again in their own time. I mean, they would be lost. The psychological damage, I think, to them would be astronomical. To where I think that, in some aspects, when, these abductions happen with what the abductees experience, what y'all experience, it's they have to put blockers in there. If not, it's just like, melt your mind. Because you can't comprehend it, I mean, it's something you fully cannot comprehend at all.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have totally TV. Agree. So what helps us, but what does help us out, though, is that we have TV shows. So we can, we can chalk everything up to a show that we watch. I mean, we have TV shows about different galaxies and time travel and flying through space and, X-Files and digging through the center of the earth and, monsters and mayhem and everything under the sun. To where possibly could comprehend a little bit more, but if it's that bad, then we're in trouble.
Yeah,
because also think about it this way too, though. I mean, if they are interdimensional beings, they are coming from another dimension, and they're coming here and grabbing us and taking us to that dimension. Mm-hmm. Can we comprehend that? Are we mentally prepared to comprehend? I mean, is there going to be psychological scarring that takes place with this?
Probably would.
I don't think there's a human alive. I don't care how badass you are. I don't think there's anybody who would. I don't think there's a lot of people who could go through that, if anybody.
Unless you already knew about it and knew what was there and was prepared.
Indoctrinated through the years.
Yeah, that fairies and the government.
I mean, even if you weren't prepared, even just if you did step in the future, like 200, 300 plus years, and see all the technology and all that, and come back, and then you're probably going to be 90% of your time trying to rationalize it and trying to, I guess, recreate it to a point.
Oh man, there's a case of a guy who disappeared, and allegedly he disappeared in today's time, and allegedly went forward. No. In the past, came forward in time, and was trying to find people who are already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, and so there's like a big. I think it was in Chicago or somewhere. I cannot think off the top of my head, but I know Critters of Corn talked about it.
Huh.
And
I mean, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of hard to wrap my head around it, especially in stuff like that. I mean, yeah, and I mean, you're trying to find, especially on that case about you said for a person came back from the past 200 years or something like that, try to find friends that have freaking been dead. I mean, try to rationalize all that. I mean, I think it would probably melt your brain to a point.
yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, there's a case. I think it was on Critters of Corn, and they talked about it. And it's where it was either he was from the past in the future, or from here and went to the past. And it's where there's police reports about this guy. It's where he's describing, I mean, everything to a detail of certain people who, yeah, there was a guy from the past, came in the future, then he disappeared again. And that guy never reappeared in the past.
Neat.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what if, you know, it's where, like, the interdimensional thing, same thing, though. It's where we're not able to comprehend, you know, some people aren't able to comprehend being the transfer to go through from the dimension to dimension, especially if the government comes out and says, you know, they are non-human beings. So are they non-human beings from another dimension? I mean, maybe, you know, when we send to heaven or we send to hell, maybe it's because, you know, it is another dimension. And, you know, and we, you know, as like me and Eric talked about, to where, you know, the certain frequency and vibe that you put off allows you to go to either one. You know, if you're a good person and you put out the good vibes, you do everything you're supposed to be doing, and you follow, you know, what the teacher was supposed to do, yeah, you're going to send to this other dimension of heaven. You know, and if you think about it, heaven technically is another dimension. It's a spirit realm. It's another place. It's
truly, yeah, you're truly right there.
Same thing with
That's
hell.
true.
It's another dimension. It's another zone. So what if going through all this, what if some of you know, because there's theories out there too, though, that these abductions and all that stuff are actually, you know, demons. You know, coming from this other realm, or they're angels coming in. I mean, there's so much, because if you look at the history, to where, you know, they came down on chariots. You know, these angels, these guys, they did this, they did that on these flying chariots and such, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we call them UFOs, which are shaped similar to. And if you think about the UFO design, from the early sightings of them to what they are now, they've changed, they've modified. So what if, you know, the same thing on their dimensions, to where they've, you know, I mean, yeah, they're improving, but they can fly.
Yeah. Well, the Bible
Just a theory.
clearly states in the end times there will be manifestations of stuff in the air, which I find really interesting.
Yep.
Especially with this onslaught now of the UFO stuff really coming out.
You know, when the government acknowledges something like UFOs, I'll be honest with you, that scares me to death.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. Because, you know, the rest, I mean, everybody, the government's going, yep, there's UFOs. And the funny part about it is their timing on it was great. Because they were in the middle of a pandemic. I can't say the C word. They were in the middle of a pandemic. And they come in and they go, hey, guess what? There's UFOs. And everybody, a lot of us are going, we know. Where have you been? You owe an apology to all these people who've had all these encounters, who have had, you know what I mean? Who've been mocked, belittled. The government screwed them up. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
So.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's horrible. But now, yes, but they're not saying that they're aliens. They're saying they're non-human entities.
Well, okay, I will. I buy that and I don't buy that. I'll sit right on this. I'll sit right down the middle because yeah, I mean, if they're talking about human entities, as in the human race, they are correct. They aren't of our lineage or anything that we know of.
Right.
So technically, they're humanoid, but they are not human because we classify. We classify ourselves as humans.
Yep.
So I guess I can buy that to a certain degree.
Yeah, but that's why. I mean, that's what I'm thinking when it comes to the UFOs, and it's just my theory though. On interdimensional stuff, and that's what they keep coming out saying though. They're interdimensional, and they're non-human beings, and they're coming here, and we know about it. There's other alphabet agencies that know this, and nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, it's I listened to the hearings last year. I really did. I was curious about it. I want to hear. And it's like he came out and he said, yeah, it's there, but guess what? Nobody followed through. Well, we'll do a private one. Well, we'll do a private one. We'll do a private one.
Yeah.
We'll do a private one.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, I think it's if you I don't care what your religious background is, if you believe in an inherent good, however you classify that as, you also have to believe in inherent bad, because we see that in itself in humanity. You have the Mother Teresas and you have the Hitlers.
True.
So I think I don't know how it works. I don't know if I want to know how it works.
Well, all I can say is, Todd, is this. So you're a medium. You had abductions. Let's just be honest. You've had an implant that disappeared. You've had some time displacement.
Mm-hmm.
You've had what a fun-filled, crazy life.
Well, I tell you, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing when you can call somebody up and say, I'll shorten the story up. Gal lost her daughter to suicide. Who worked with the gal I was married at the time. And she said, oh, this is terrible. Your daughter committed suicide and this and that. And then fast forward about 3 days, and she came to me and she says, I'm okay. I'm at peace. Everything's good. I'm fine, basically. And I told that to the wife at the time, and she said, well, you got to call her. You got to tell her. I says, I don't do that. Yeah. It's not. That's way out of the wheelhouse. So we called her up and said, this is. I says, I know things, and told her basically what I told you, and she says, we really thought that's what it was, and so she was, but it's also, but on the other side, it's a curse, the fact of you get into, and I'm a Christian, I'm a professing Christian. I'm not a good one, but that is what I believe in. You get into the other side, you get into the, shall we say, religious side of it, and you are a sinner, you're going to hell, you're going to do this, you're going to burn for eternity.
Well, on that one, I'll tell you, I look at that as narrow-minded. On any religious aspect, is because the Bible is so full of the paranormal, it's so full of spiritual, it's so full of, magic. There's so much in there. It's where we had a little conversation over here yesterday and brought it up, and somebody goes, there's magic in the Bible? And a friend of mine, who's Pentecostal, by the way, he looked right at her and he goes, yeah, Moses threw his staffs down, trimmed the snakes. I went, ding, ding. That's
fire
magic.
Fire came from heaven and ate and devoured the deal for Elijah, the offering for Elijah. That's just a short thing.
There's so much that goes into it, and there were people don't, they just kind of skim over that, and they want to focus mainly on certain teachings that fit their personal belief. I don't want to say belief, but they're to justify them to where they can't look at the book as a whole. They're only going to focus on the chapter.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
say,
pretty much.
forest for the trees, and I'm not trying to insult anybody out there listening to the show, right? I'm really not. But if you're going to dig into this stuff, you got to be able to open. You got to be able to be willing to do your research, and it's not listen to someone like me is going to tell you because I don't have it right. And and I'll be the first one to admit that I don't have the right. I don't have all the answers. I mean, the reason why I do the podcast is to try and find answers and to do the research because this stuff fascinates me. Because I don't want to live in a world without magic in it. I don't want to live in a world without the paranormal. I don't want to live in a world without a strange, Bigfoot creature roaming the woods. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in a black and white world. I want to live in a world to where it is full of wonder and beauty.
Absolutely.
And music and art and color and life. That's what a world I want to live in. But they have a thing where if you don't listen to a guy standing in a pulpit, then you're not a good person, and I have a hard time with that. And that's on any religion across the board. And I'm lucky with my parents who are staunch Christian, who use it, but they're not to where they support the show. And I'm truly lucky and blessed to have that. And they encourage it. They encouraged me as a kid to do research and stuff. There were certain things they weren't thrilled about when I came home with a book about Satanism. And it wasn't because I wanted to become a Satanist. It was because what do they believe? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously I know what we believe on the Christian side. So what do these other guys believe? And so I was in the military. I started studying Islam. Okay, if I'm going to fight these guys, what do they believe?
Absolutely.
So I went on a religious spiritual journey in my late teens into my 20s to figure all this out. It's research. What do they believe? And I found a lot of things that were completely way out there, and I found a lot of things that were really close to what everybody else believes. So that tells me that there's something, there's a main basic core to this. And of course, I didn't want to try and turn this into like a religious show or anything, but aliens and being a medium and Todd, that's crazy. That's awesome though. When I say that's crazy, that's awesome.
The thing that I learned in my Bible study stuff is probably one of the put me to ease about what happens and what I know was the word in the Old Testament prophet does not mean prophet in the Hebrew language. It means seer. And so it's read prophet through, the prophet of God this, the prophet of God that. Well, it's the seer of God. It's the seer. The actual literal translation is seer. And it's like, okay, I'm fine with that,
Yeah.
And I think that to me of everything, because you have to know your audience when you say something.
Yeah.
Because, you get some... I went with one gal who was from Cherry Hill, Arkansas.
Okay.
And
y'all know where Cherry Hill, Arkansas is at?
Yeah.
Jacob does. Where's Cherry Hill, Arkansas at?
God, now you got to put me right on the spot.
I am going to put you on the spot. I don't know where Cherry Hill, Arkansas is at. Vince, you know where Cherry Hill, Arkansas is at?
Yeah, let me look it up real quick.
I know where Cherry Hill is in Park Hill.
I know where Cherry Hill. I know where that's at. Yeah, it's right down the road. Hang on. You keep talking.
Well, and she was very religious, which was fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I never told her anything about this stuff because it just, it wouldn't have ended well. I mean, she'd have probably pulled fire from heaven and had me eaten up. You know what I mean?
True.
Just like I say, you got to know your audience. But
yeah, my problem is I don't have a filter.
We know that.
Yeah, if you hung out with me for longer than a night, and I can promise you, I don't have a filter.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, with the small circle that I have around me, of friends, I mean, I could not be more blessed and lucky in that aspect, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but of course, it took a long time to find, my tribe.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And I'm grateful for my tribe. So
Absolutely.
shout out to my tribe. What's up, tribe?
You're a unique individual.
Unfortunately, you are 100% correct on that one.
Because I'll say this, okay? Don't stop me because I'll screw up.
Okay.
So I got it's the whole. I'm still trying to figure out the BR549 thing. I don't understand that. Don't understand that from your old producer.
Right.
So I was actually headed to Omaha the other day to go help my son and then go see the girlfriend. And I got thinking about you, and of course your producer pops up. Old producer, excuse me. I can't remember his name.
Maddie.
Forgive me. And that's what the whole deal about. So I ask you, what do you know about Hee-Haw and BR549? This is what I got. And because I asked you the question, what grounds you? And what I see is woodsy stuff, dirt, grass, trees. That's what I see. That's your grounding point. That's what brings you back to sanity or reality, or however you want to see it as. When it comes to your family, you're between the color red and the color white. Blues, for me, are cool colors, and as you go up to the greens, yellows, reds, you get hotter and hotter. Of course, I don't know if they still use the term white hot. Used to be something was really hot, it was white hot.
Yeah.
So your family is you're between red and white hot, and understand that because there's some of my family that I love, but I just can't stand.
Right. I'm just...
your friends, and I mean really close, your tribe. You really think, it's my feeling, that there really are a family or part of the family, or however, I don't know how you see it. The way I see it is their family. My music family, the people that I'm close to, are my family. So you're just as hot with them. Your job, I hear you love your job. You're between orange and red, but there are days, and and now this time of year, it's horrible. And I don't. I've been out there, man. Oh my God. In gloves, and a coat and gloves and a hat on.
Well, for what I do, I just wear shorts and a t-shirt and gloves.
You're lucky. You're so lucky. Yeah, I mean you're quite the you hold your friends close, you hold your family close. There's a lot there. Your podcast, if there was a color beyond white, that's what I would say, and it's really gonna do great things. I see great things, and it really expanding and taking on a life of its own. The only thing I would say is don't be so busy at doing stuff that you don't make a life. That would be the only word of advice I would say. And you're an interesting read. You're a really interesting read.
I would say that would be, you're not the first person to say that.
You have a bunch, and I don't know who they are, but there is this army of people, beings, or spirits, or however you want to say it. They're behind you. I can't tell you who they are, but you got this body of entities behind you, holding you up.
That's definitely needed. Thank you. I mean, I'm just trying to use the show to reach out, create a platform for people who have had these encounters and stuff, and they feel lost, and they need someone to talk to. And man, call me. I'll talk to you.
Oh,
We'll
hell
talk
yeah.
about it. I mean, this is a judgment-free zone. You know, one of my favorite quotes is from a good friend of mine. He's sitting next to me right now. And even if he wasn't, I would still give him a shout-out. But I had a thing coming up. It was about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago or something like that. About 2 months ago. And he looked at me. He texted me. He goes, man, what are you worried about? It's the deck. You know, because, Friday night is the deck night. You know, that's where we just come and relax. We goof off. And, that's our life. And that's, that's what we do. And we talk about everything from football to politics to, again, UFOs, weird stuff, to music. I mean, there's a bunch of white people on the deck one night and one black guy, and we were all rapping. I mean, we were literally all rapping, and it was great. And that's what it's supposed to be like. And so. Yes. So whenever I'm having a bad day or I'm starting to stress something, all I have is that one message pop up, and it's the deck.
Yeah, it is.
It's the deck, and now it's the tavern. Now we've built a tavern, and I didn't do this alone. I mean, my friends stepped up in ways that the Amish would. I mean, I mean, to use that comparison, the Amish just show up. That's what they do. Boom, 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 boom. And so when I said, hey guys, I want to do this and this and this, and I mean, boom, people over here. I mean, we just put up a 50-inch plasma screen TV down here today.
That's cool.
I mean, so, and it's like, like I said before, and I'll do an episode on May 6th of this year, eventually. And I'm going to. I need to, actually. and I'll have a few people that I'll have on that episode, and we'll talk about it. But since May 6th, I mean, my life is,
dramatically changed.
Drastically, has it not? And not in a bad way. It's gone up in so many great levels. And what I love, too, though, is I'm not the only one. I've watched everybody else's lives around me shoot up all of a sudden.
It's good.
I've seen your life, go up as well. Mm-hmm. Happy-go-lucky. I've seen, Jacob, your life go up as well. Oh, yeah. I was looking at Vince there for a second. I mean, I can start naming our friends, other friends whose lives have done these great, awesome things since May 6th. And so, Saturday night, I had some other friends down here, and, I just set the bar area up, and we were having a couple of drinks, and I'm a big Star Wars nerd. And so we were talking about, May 4th and everything of next year. Mm-hmm. And I looked at my buddy, and I said, May 6th. And he looked at me and he goes, yeah, let's make May 6th happen. We'll do something awesome on May 6th. I said, yeah.
Nice.
I said, that's the new day right there. That's the day that we're all getting to me, because everybody around it, the way I look at it, their lives are going up. And we've made new great people friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, have we not? Oh, good people. Like the crowd that we had down on Friday night. We had a good crowd down here Friday night. Everybody was a little new, trying to meet each other. But Karen, I think she broke the ice for everybody. What do you think, Vince? I think she broke the ice for everybody. Karen did, because she just came in and was like, hey, how you doing? Talk to everybody. I love Karen. Karen's episode dropped today. Way to go, Karen. Awesome episode. But Todd, I mean, yeah, and I appreciate the encouragement. I just want to use my platform, though, to give people a platform to be able to come and either listen to the stories because they're fascinated, or listen to the encounters, or feel as though they can come on the show. I've got a guy whose episode is dropping next week, podcast Time Travel. It'll be before this one drops.
Okay.
And he was real nervous about coming on the show, remember?
Oh, yes. I remember you saying
that. Jacob, I'm looking at Jacob. Yeah, they can't see you shaking your head, so you got to be verbal. Yeah. So I have to translate for silent Vince over here. But so this guy was real nervous about coming to the show, and he did a really good job. And he had some things he was really nervous about. And even after the show, the recording, as I was getting ready for bed, he was texting me still. And he's like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then whatever you do, don't worry about it. Just try and relax. Yeah. And his episode is going to be a Thursday episode, I believe. I don't have the calendar in front of me. So that's what we need down here. We need to have a kind of like a calendar down here when we get the pouch put up. A calendar down, and so we can show what episodes are dropping and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat.
That would be cool.
Yeah, look at us go. Man, we're geniuses.
I think if we do that, we need to do a dry erase board.
Yeah, so I was thinking a dry erase board calendar.
Yeah.
I see Vince is giving a thumbs up, and that's right. Vince is all about the thumbs up. So, But I mean, and what really, and I'm going to throw you on the bus here for a second, Todd, too, is that the last week when you and me talked about you coming on this week, you know, you said that I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were happy, grateful that you were able to talk to somebody about this stuff, these experiences that you were having. You know, and I'll be honest with you, when people go through a lot of these, you know, they are real gun shy to come out. They are real worried to come out. And they are real afraid to be looked upon as being,
Labeled.
you know, labeled as crazy or weird.
Yeah.
And I bring this up all the time. I feel as though if Jesus was to come back right now today, they would have him committed to an insane asylum.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean that. And that's from
absolutely.
everybody across the board. Because everybody talks about how they're ready for him to come back, but yet they're not ready for him to come back because it doesn't fit a narrative.
True, but
Oh, no.
And so I like to think that the people that I surround myself with, we the first ones going, dude, that's Jesus. Sweet. Hey, man, big fan, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm grateful because you guys are, you said it, and anybody who's listening, I mean, seriously, get a hold of Matt and Drunken Cryptids, and because it is a judgment-free zone. Be people who have paranormal and UFO encounters, you just don't tell everybody because you hear it. Oh, those people are crazy. Oh, you hear about so and so. Oh, that's just crazy, and they label you. They label people like that as crazy, and we're not. We're sane as everybody else. We've had some. We have had some encounters. We have some abilities we don't understand. You know, we're not crazy, and everybody else is going to sit there and tell you because it doesn't fit the normal narrative. End of story.
yeah.
So
What I want to have you do is, so what's really neat is, so Heidi's getting ready to come back on to do another episode because we got to finish her series out. And Heidi's gotten to the point in her life where she don't care. And she wears her weirdness like a badge. And that's probably what I liked about Heidi. To be honest, I like Heidi.
She doesn't
I'm
care
sure
what
she's
other
listening to
people
that right
think.
now. Shout out Heidi. But I'm willing to, and that's the thing though, is that Heidi doesn't hide her weirdness. She doesn't hide, her beliefs and her abilities at all. And she will walk in and go, to where she is, I got a real good friend of mine named Matt, and he's going to come in and bless all the equipment and everything that I have. He's going to do, he's a minister, and then I got Heidi coming in and goes, I'm going to make this thing. It's going to protect the tavern, and I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. And you are great, Vince. Thank you for that. I so needed another beverage. It's like you read my mind. It's like we're right there. And you took your headphones off, so you really can't hear, but that's hilarious. Thank you again. So, but, and the concept of the Drunken Cryptids, in all honesty, was to be a place for people to come and share their experiences, not be judged, and even whether or not I believe it or not. I mean, somebody had an encounter enough to where it left a mark on them. It left some imprint.
Absolutely.
And let's be honest, I mean, you're not getting paid for this.
No.
So you're not coming on the show to be like, I'm going to make a ton of money off of this. No.
Oh, no.
No, you're coming to share your experience because it's nice to be able to talk about it. It's nice to be able to have somebody sit down and say, hey, something weird happened to me.
Just to put it out there.
Yeah, something weird happened to me. And maybe what, you're going through, Todd, somebody's listening right now, and they're going, hey, that's happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't feel alone anymore.
Yeah, that's the big one, right? That is you hit it on that's the big one. You feel isolated because you know stuff, you see stuff, you have whatever coming, spirits or people, ancestors or however coming to you, talking to you, or you've seen stuff in the sky, or you feel isolated. And the truth is, there's more of us than there are them.
You're absolutely right. There really are. And I love hearing about the encounters. I love, and then breaking them down and talking about them. But again, that was the whole concept of what the Drunken Cryptids is about, was to be able to sit around and discuss. And like when Sammy did her first episode on the Crescent, and Vince was there for that one. And Vince is like, man, I've been trying to go to the Crescent. I've been trying to have all these encounters. Nothing. But yeah, he's a believer. And the funny part about it is I'm willing to bet Vince has probably had some experiences that he probably doesn't remember. And he's probably written it off as something completely natural.
Sure.
And he's giving me a thumbs up. You know? And that's the thing, though, is that I want to be able to create a platform for people to come and do this at. And to be able to, open the world up a little bit more to what is really going on. And open the veil up and part the veil a little bit more so people can see what's, I want them to see who really is behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Who is the wizard?
Yeah.
Let's pull the curtain aside and let's do that. And the only way we're going to do it is by discussions and by, talking about our experiences and getting them out there and taking notes and realizing, you know what? Hey, I had this here, but somebody had this over here similar. And then you start comparing the notes together and you merge it into one. And that's the whole concept of this.
Yeah.
And that's so. And Todd, for you to come on, man, I'm grateful you came on to share your experiences with us. I'm grateful that you followed me on TikTok and was playing your music on TikTok. I really am, and I'm grateful that you reached out to me on TikTok. Todd reached out to me on TikTok. He didn't email me. He did after I mentioned the back today. Email me,
Yes. Yeah.
So, because that was at a really weird time in my life.
Yeah.
So, but Todd, I'm grateful you came on. You want to come back on again?
Duh. Hello.
Oh, well, all right. I appreciate that. I'm going to definitely have you back on again. So we're kind of running in almost to an hour and a half mark here. So
Sweet.
I'm going to get ready to wrap this party on up. So, but before we part, do you have any words of wisdom for us?
Oh God, I wish I did.
I put you on the spot, didn't I? Don't worry, Jacob. You're next. So get ready.
I know.
Well, if words of wisdom is be open. Just be open. Don't listen to all the BS from the other haters and the people who are talking smack about this. Be open to what's going on and what's around you and what's happening, and just that's the big thing right there. Just be open.
Yeah.
And grateful.
That's a good one. Jacob, what's your words of wisdom before we wrap this up?
I'm going to put it simple, just be open, be honest, be yourself.
Cool. That's a good one. All right, here's my words of wisdom for everybody out there. I'm going to wrap it up first. So, check this out, everybody. Do me a favor. Unplug from the news. Unplug from the thing.
Absolutely.
Unplug. Thank you for listening to Drunken Cryptids. Don't unplug from that one. But
No.
do me a favor, guys. Go out and be a little bit of nature. Go experience nature. Get your hands dirty. Get your feet dirty. Go take a hike. Go fishing. Take a walk. If you have a Jeep, take the doors and tops off and drive and get caught in a rainstorm when you're driving that way. You want to talk about laughing? If Vince is right here, fellow Jeeper, what's that? Getting caught in a rainstorm with the doors and the tops off. All you can do at this point in time in life is laugh. And it's happened to me a few times. I just laughed. Life is to be enjoyed. Life is the longest thing that you will ever do. Why choose things to be miserable in? Be happy. Surround yourself with people who make you happy. Surround yourself who will encourage you in your dreams and support you. And until next time, folks, do me a favor. Make sure you like and follow us. Share us with everybody you have out there. Please, if you've had an encounter, you've had an experience, you just want to talk or chat or do something like that, email me, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, all the streaming platforms out there. I definitely appreciate you guys listening in tonight. Todd, you've been a great guest again, brother. I appreciate you coming on board.
Thank you very much for having me, Matt.
Not a problem. Until next time, you guys, man, y'all go out there. Y'all have a good time. And your homework assignment for the next week, you guys, go dance in the rain. That's all I got for you guys. Y'all stay safe out there.